Embellishments. It's Sharon from Mad Paper Crush here. Today I wanted to share with you how I made this fun little bookmark. So this is my new planner that I have for 2025, and I wanted to give myself a bookmark, something that wouldn't fall off. So something that, you know, if I'm carrying it around or something, it's going to be secure. So I made this fun little bookmark here, and I made a bunch of them because I decided I'm going to probably use them in a bunch of my different books that I have all over the place, that I'm trying to keep track of things. And I wanted to show you how I made it. So it's a fun bookmark, and actually it is a altered paperclip, and actually it's an altered paper clips. So these are really fun, and I think that you could find some use in them as well. You can keep them on the sides of your books and they won't fall out. This one doesn't have a tab, but I made some with tabs. This one has a nice big tab. This one has a small little tab, and of course I had to do some additional decorating on them. This one also has a small little tab with some labels where you could maybe add the year, or if you're, you know, you could put today on there or something like that, you know, to keep it relevant to whatever, you know, book you're in or whatever there. So these just slide right on the side of whatever you're doing. And certainly if you have a book as long as I do, you could put them on the top too. So it would be a tab that comes out the top, which is also really fun. But the way I did all of these, I kind of did them so that the words are to put them on the side there. But the reason this project is so fun is that with just a little tweaks, you could modify it to do, you know, whatever you want. So let's go ahead and get started making some fun altered paperclip bookmarks. Okay, I am starting with just a digital that I have printed out on cardstock. This one is actually from one of my new kits called Char, and I will link that down below if you'd like to take a look at that. And I'm cutting two pieces from this one piece of paper, and I'm cutting them at 5 inches tall, and this one is 4 inches wide. This is going to be the bottom piece, and then I am cutting the other piece also at 5 inches tall, but then I'm going down to 3.5 inches wide for the second piece. So that gives me some space on either side to kind of sandwich my paper clips on the inside. And then I also have a third piece over there that is 4 inches wide, and I'm going to be using that for a tab for the top, well, actually for the side of the bookmark. So now I'm just scoring in half both of the first two pieces I made, the top and the bottom. So I'm just double checking. My 3.5 inch piece, I am scoring at 1 3/4 inches, so I can fold that in half. And the other one, since it is a 4 inch wide piece, I'm scoring that one at 2 inches to fold in half. So that's going to make my sort of altered paper clip top and bottom. And then I decided to round the corners. So I'm doing that because as I am thinking about sliding that bookmark on and off the side of a page, I just want to be sure that those sharp edges don't catch on anything. Now, I wasn't going to do the top one because it doesn't go all the way to the bottom. But as I was looking at it, I figured if I didn't cut them exactly the same size, those edges might catch on something. So I went ahead and rounded them too. So you can see I have just a little bit of space in between the top and the bottom, which is what I want. And then I'm taking some scrap fabric here and I'm cutting it down so that just a little bit will stick out around the edges. So I love to have that rough torn fabric look, and I figured it would be good to hold some of those paper clips together, but also give me that nice look of torn fabric between the two layers. All right, I'm coming back in here because I wanted to cut my tab for the side of the bookmark. And right now I'm just scoring it at 3/4 of an inch because my tab maker, that's how wide it makes tabs. So I just fold it over 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to make my tab marks or punches there on the top, so it looks like a little tab. And then I'm going to cut off the bottom. And this piece, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but this piece is also from that same paper, and I cut it off at 4 inches wide. So it's going to be smaller than the top and the bottom, and I thought I could just put it right in the middle. And the reason I'm getting that together now too, I kind of wanted to have all my pieces cut and ready to go because I am going to do some sewing on them. But of course, before I do some sewing, I'm going to pull out my distress ink and just distress all the pieces of paper that I have to be sure that, there's no white showing from where I've cut everything out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first, and then I'm going to take them over to the sewing machine, and each of those 3 pieces, I'm just going to sew around the whole thing. So I'm going to sew around this piece that you see in my hand right now. I'm going to sew the tab together, and then I'm also going to sew that bottom piece together. And then once I do that, we'll go ahead and we will start assembling the whole bookmark. All right, I'm back from the sewing machine, and as you can see, I have put on a zigzag stitch around each of my 3 paper pieces. Just because I thought I would like the way it looked. So now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get that fabric piece in between. And I've decided to put my paper clips onto my bottom piece. So you can see I folded the bottom piece over, and then I'm just putting the paper clips maybe a half an inch from the top edge and the bottom edge. And so now I'm working on my top piece, and I'm going to take my 3-in-1 beacon glue here, and I'm going to add glue to the back side of my top piece so that I can put my fabric in between there. And of course, I'm almost to the end of this bottle and am struggling with getting the glue out. I feel like every time I make a video, that's the case. But I think I got enough on there to make the fabric stick the way I want it to. So and then as I'm looking at it here, I'm like, well, I want to be sure I have the edges all out together. And so I decided to put the fabric down on my mat and put the paper on top of that, the top piece on top of that. So this is not necessary. On the other ones, I didn't put fabric on all of them, but I just wanted some of that torn fabric look on this one, which is why I did that. And so now I'm putting the 2 pieces together. So I'm taking my glue and putting it on the top piece of the bookmark. So I wanted to put a lot in the middle to be sure that it stayed nice and secure down over those paper clips. So I am probably putting more glue than I would in other cases on here because you really want, since the paper clips stick up, you want to be sure there's enough glue to hold everything down. So I'm just getting that glue on there. And then what I'll do is I will fold this right in half on top of my bottom piece, which will completely cover up those paper clips. So you can see I'm trying to make sure I get it right in the middle. I'm lining up my edges, and then I'm just going to hold this in place until it is dry because I don't want it to pop up on me. All right, my bottom 2 pieces are together and they're dry, and now I'm going to put on my tab. So I'm using my, this is kind of like art glitter glue, but it's not. I think I got this at the Dollar Tree. I like that it has a needle point applicator that, makes for nice precision glue there. And I'm putting this on the inside of my tab. And then I'm going to secure the tab as close to the middle as I can. And you can see I'm leaving some of the tab off to the right-hand side there. So when I put it as a bookmark on the page, the tab will stick out a little bit and it'll be easy for me to find when I have it inside my book. So once again, I'm going to make sure this is all dry before I move on to the next step. Actually, no, I'm not. I am not going to let it dry. I decide here that I'm going to cut off some of these ends because I was thinking that as I'm putting it on and off the book, if those thread ends are sticking out, they'll probably just start to drive me crazy. So I am cutting all of them off so that I have a nice, it's not going to be a clean edge because of my fabric, but it's not going to have those strings anyway. And now, of course, I have to test it. I can't wait. I got to test it out and see if it works the way I think it's going to work. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to slide it onto the edge of this page, and I love it. So the paper clip at the top and the bottom really holds it together so that you're not going to lose anything on there and it's not going to fall out. So I am loving the way this turned out. All right, I'm adding some final touches. As I was looking at it, I couldn't let it go. It looked a little too plain for me. So I went into my little stash of embellishments there. I have a little ephemera holder that I have a whole bunch of little bits in, and I just dug out a couple things that I thought would be fun that kind of matched the color scheme I had going and all that good stuff. So I found two little labels with some mushrooms on. One is a square one and the other one's a circle one. And then I found another little, almost looks like a little specimen label. It has some numbers on it and things like that. So I pulled those three out and thought I would do something with them. Of course, I'm adding some distress ink to everything so that everything matches. And then I'm just going to try to figure out where I want them to go. So I decide on one side, I'm going to use the square label and sort of the specimen numbers together, and just a little bit of fiddling, and I liked the way that looked, so I was trying not to give it too much thought, which sometimes I overthink things. But I'm going to go ahead and put that on, put the square label on, and then as you'll see, I'm going to flip it over and just add that one little round label to the other side. So no matter what side of the page I have my bookmark on, it will have something that I enjoy on it. And there you go. We have some fun bookmarks that won't fall out, which are really altered paperclip bookmarks that you can keep in all of your books to make sure you don't lose your place. I hope you enjoyed this video, friends. I had so much making these with you, and I hope that you'll sign up for my newsletter. All you have to do is go to madpapercrush.com/news, and I give out discounts and freebies and update you with all the things Mad Paper Crush. Thanks so much for watching, friends. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.